I was watching a documentary last night, and it's about Louis the XVI, Louis the XVII, Queen Marie Antoinette, the French Revolution, and so on. And after I thought of this, I said, you know what? This looked like a Jewish conspiracy. Because you see, it was the Jews who started to stay with kings. Now, if you remember, in the Old Testament, thousands of years ago, before Moses, no, it was after Moses, whatever. But you had the Jews said, we do not want a prophet, we want a king, like the nations around us. And so Samuel, who's the prophet, he started crying. God said, look, man, why are you crying, bro? Or son, they're not rejecting you. Okay, they're rejecting me. Okay? So stop the crying. It's not about you, it's about me. They don't like me running the show. In other words, Satan has come into their hearts and he wants to destroy them. And they don't understand that. So he's going to do it via the king. Okay? So I'm going to, stand aside and let him get the king. In fact, I'm going to even help them to get a first king. And so while many of them were religious, especially Saul, he had courage and he looked like a charismatic leader and he looked like a guy who could really bring home the bacon. But when he started to get evil and start checking witches and stuff like that and wouldn't obey God and the spirit left him, he became also a coward. And he started to take raise taxes, take the sheep, take the son, send him into thoughtless battles, etc. And so we come down to Louis. Now, we know in the early stages of his marriage, the marriage was not consummated until 6 or something years like that after. And he was just 15, perhaps. Maybe he wasn't interested in girls. Maybe, I ain't going there. But Antoinette was expecting, and so on, babies and, getting together and have some coitus, some sex and so on. Telling her mom that this thing is not being consummated and so on. And then she developed maybe from then, but it later happened when she had her little, what's it called, Mono, the little place, she developed in the country there, and the king couldn't go over, and then some Swedish emissary used to go over and whatever, who knows what used to go on in there. And so the people developed a kind of distrust for her, so that they started raising taxes and to fill, she's going into gambling debts and jewelry and all this. And then there was this diamond necklace trick with the high religious man and the hooker in the park and all that. But the people were hungry and there was no money. There was like a recession, a depression, and people begging them, we need help. Stop all this taking our money and taxes, we losing our farms and so on. Help us out. And so the people revolted. And she was Austrian, and then he had the war with the Austrians, and she sending messages and all that. But the bottom line is that they ended up executing both of them. Now, when he was executed, his son became Louis XVII, and perhaps he was a shadow king. But they put him in the prisons, and so on. The boy died at 10 in prison. One of her daughters was did a prisoner swap, and she went back to Austria, but she didn't have no kids, and so that was the end of the Louis family. And of course, they executed Louis the 16th and Antoinette. And the Republic came on, and these revolutionaries came on, so that this was the solution to the prophet thing. Okay, we didn't want prophets, we bring on the kings, we get rid of the kings, and we have politicians now. Well, God said it, man. You don't want me. These people are going to send you to wars, take your land, take your gold. The point, though, is this: that since these scores of years and generations, are the politicians who were the commoners and the rich middle class and so on, the bourgeois. I'm just wondering if they turned out to be just what they wanted, or they're just like the king, light or worse than the king, because many of these presidents and so forth, I suspect in France, they had big life. They got this big castle up there. They're over the little people anyway. So if they revolt against the bourgeois, then these politicians became the new bourgeois. And the wives dress up nice and look good and so on. So it seems to me like it hasn't changed. But the thing is this, that Israel had theocracy. Then they went into kingocracy. And they went into democracy and communocracy and ocracy and so on, and all these various ocracy. But people are still looking for something else. I think we have to go back to theocracy because you see, in theocracy, Israel would have been the center of the world, and people would have gone down there to see how it is you don't have prisons, how you don't have police stations, how you don't have fire, how you don't have all this disease, how you don't have these big hospitals, and they would say it's God. We just follow him and we do what he says and we straight. You don't have domestic violence. You don't have all this social problems. The homes are strong. You have a lot of scholars. This was what they were supposed to do. And I think that at this point in time, individuals are saying, is capitalism and democracy it? Is this the final one? And is this the best or whatever? Is this that we're going to find utopia? Well, I want to tell you that people are looking out for theocracy again. I'm looking out for theocracy because, I mean, the amount of problems I have and other people have and so forth, and the politicians doing the best, but they're not God and they can't see tomorrow and so on. And charlatans are coming and promising they know things they can't deliver and so on. So I'm looking forward to theocracy. I'm looking forward when the Lord will return and establish His kingdom, so that I won't have to be worrying about racial this and that. I won't have to worry about because I have some good ideas. They're trying to kill me and they're trying to give me all these problems because they figure I shouldn't have these good ideas and I should be more educated than them and all that. So as I watch the Antoinette and Louis the 16th and the family demise and the demise of the monarchy and the constitutional monarchy and some still survive in Europe and so forth, I just remember to say, you know what, we can come full circle. They rejected theocracy and theocracy is coming back again. And I'm sure that in theocracy, everybody's going to be happy. And you know what? Folks will not want these communism and this democracy and this capitalism and this monarchy and all this stuff that we've had in the past because folks, folks will say, you know what, this is better. Theocracy is better.